right now you are shackled, not by chains, not by walls, but by your own pathetic, desperate need for approval. You live for it, you chase it, you beg for it, the likes, the praise, the validation. And because of that, you are weak. Every time someone disrespects you, you swallow it. Every time life knocks you down, you wait. You wait for a hand to lift you back up. You wait for the world to show you mercy. But let me make this clear, no one is coming. No one is losing sleep over your pain. No one is waiting to rescue you. No one cares about your struggle. And yet, here you are, dragging yourself through life, hoping that one day, just one day, somebody will finally give a damn. Pathetic. You are owned. You are owned by your emotions, owned by your fears, owned by the imaginary rules you built around yourself. And as long as you care, as long as you give a damn about their opinions, their approval, their validation, you will stay exactly where you are. On your knees, weak, breakable, nothing. But the moment you stop caring, the moment you stop begging, everything changes. That's when they start to notice. That's when they start to fear you. Because when a man has nothing left to lose, when he no longer gives a damn about being liked, when he stops seeking permission, he becomes unstoppable. He becomes a storm, a force of nature, a nightmare. You think the world respects kindness, weakness, politeness. No, the world bows to power. It bends to the unbreakable. It kneels before those who take what they want without hesitation. And the second you let go of this childish fantasy that people will accept you, love you, or save you, the second you stop waiting for approval, you become a threat. They won't understand it at first. They'll wonder what changed, why their words no longer affect you, why their judgment bounces off like raindrops on steel. And that's when the fear sets in. Because when you stop seeking validation, you become something they cannot control. A person who doesn't care is the most dangerous thing on this planet. A person who doesn't seek approval cannot be manipulated. A person who doesn't need acceptance cannot be broken. So what will it be? Keep caring, keep begging, keep waiting for someone to save you, or stand the hell up, rip the chains off, and become the one thing they never saw coming, a nightmare that does not bend, does not break, and does not stop. The choice is yours. But after today, you can never say you weren't warned. You feel it now, don't you? That shift, that pull in your gut, like a storm is rising inside you, like something is waking up, something that's been buried under years of excuses, self-doubt, and weakness. Good. Now listen carefully, because this is where most people turn back. This is where they break. You've spent your whole life building a lie. A comfortable, pathetic lie that keeps you caged. You tell yourself that you're doing your best, that you're a good person, that if you just wait long enough, if you just play by the rules, if you just stay patient, things will magically get better. They won't. You think life is fair. You think it owes you something. You think success, power, and respect will just fall into your lap because you're a nice guy. Wake up. The truth is brutal, unforgiving. And if you're too weak to face it, turn back now. But if you're still here, if there's even a spark of defiance left in you, then listen to me and listen well. The world doesn't reward the weak. It doesn't hand out trophies for effort. It doesn't care about your struggle, your pain, or your excuses. Life only respects one thing, power. And power doesn't come from whining, from waiting, from hoping. It comes from taking, from building, from doing the work when nobody's watching. Look at your life. Every failure, every disappointment, every time you've been walked over, ignored, forgotten, it was your fault. No one took your dreams from you. No one stole your potential. No one forced you to be weak. You chose it. You let it happen. And you've been lying to yourself ever since. You weren't too busy. You were too lazy. You weren't unlucky. You were unprepared. You weren't betrayed. You were foolish enough to trust the wrong people. And now you're running out of time. Every second you waste is another second you'll never get back. But let me ask you something, are you really living? Or are you just existing? Because most people are already dead. Walking corpses. Sleepwalking through life. Stuck in routines they hate. Surrounded by people who drain them. Making just enough to survive, but never enough to be free. And for what? To be liked. To be accepted. To stay comfortable. Comfort is a slow death. And the worst part, you know it. You've always known it. Deep down you felt it gnawing at you. That voice in the back of your mind screaming that this isn't it. That you were meant for more. That you were built for war, not for wasting away in mediocrity. So tell me, when does it end? When do you finally stop lying to yourself? When do you finally get so sick of your own excuses, your own weakness, that you refuse to live like this for even one more second? Because here's the cold, unforgiving truth: no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. No one is going to drag you out of your misery. If you want more, you have to take it. And that means suffering. That means sacrifice. That means breaking yourself down to nothing and rebuilding from the ashes. Because right now you are not strong. Right now you are not dangerous. You are soft. You are predictable. You are exactly what the world wants you to be: a pawn, a follower, a weak, obedient servant who never steps out of line. But it doesn't have to be that way. Because the second you stop accepting the life you've been given, the second you decide that enough is enough, the chains snap. You start moving differently, thinking differently, talking differently. The people around you notice. They get uncomfortable. They start questioning why you don't laugh at their weak jokes anymore. Why you don't waste time on mindless distractions anymore. Why you no longer tolerate their excuses. They call you arrogant. They call you obsessed. They say you've changed. Good. You should change. Because the version of you they liked, that version was weak. That version was easy to manipulate. That version was a doormat who let life walk all over him. And that version, it's dead now. This is the rebirth. The moment where the old you dies and the new you emerges, ruthless, unstoppable, unshakable. But before you take that first step, before you cross the line and never look back, you need to understand something. This path is not for everyone. Most people will never escape. Most people will never wake up. They will cling to their excuses, drown in their distractions, and waste their lives waiting for a miracle that will never come. But not you. Because now you know the truth. And once you know the truth, you can never go back. So here's your final warning. Stay weak, stay afraid, stay shackled, or burn it all down and rebuild yourself from the ground up. Because the second you stop caring, that's the second you become dangerous. You feel it now, don't you? That heat rising in your chest, that fire in your gut, like something inside you is ready to break, ready to tear through every excuse, every weakness, every lie you've been telling yourself. Good, let it burn. Because this is where most people turn back. This is where they feel the weight of the truth pressing down on them, suffocating them. And instead of fighting, they retreat back to comfort, back to distraction, back to the same pathetic cycle that's been eating them alive for years. But not you. Not today. Because today we cross the point of no return. You've spent your whole life avoiding pain, running from struggle, dodging hardship. That's why you're weak. You've built your existence around comfort, numbing yourself with distractions, surrounding yourself with people who tell you what you want to hear, hiding from the fight you were born to win. But here's the truth: pain is the only way forward. Everything you want, discipline, strength, success, respect, it's on the other side of suffering. But you've been too afraid. Afraid to push. Afraid to break. Afraid to step into the fire because deep down, you don't trust yourself to survive it. So instead, you've settled. You've made peace with mediocrity. You've let your fears dictate your actions. And now you're paying the price. Look at your life. Every missed opportunity, every regret, every time you let yourself down, it all comes back to one thing. You refused to suffer. You wanted the reward without the struggle, the results without the discipline, the respect without the sacrifice. And because of that, you stayed weak. But let me ask you something, aren't you tired of this? Aren't you tired of feeling like a prisoner in your own mind? Tired of looking in the mirror and seeing a stranger staring back at you? Tired of knowing you're capable of so much more but never doing a damn thing about it? Then it's time. Time to break. Time to strip away every weakness, every excuse, every comfort that has kept you soft. And it starts here, right now. Because the only way to kill the weak version of yourself, the version that hesitates, that complains, that breaks under pressure, is to put it through hell. You have to starve it. Starve it of distractions, starve it of comfort. Starve it of every easy escape you've been running to when things get hard. No more mindless entertainment. No more wasting time with people who keep you weak. No more numbing yourself with food, with alcohol, with endless scrolling, with anything that keeps you from facing the war inside. Because this is war. A war for your mind, a war for your future, a war for your soul. And right now you're losing. You're still letting emotions dictate your actions. You're still waiting for motivation, waiting for the right moment, waiting for something outside of you to push you forward. Weakness, that's all it is. The truth, the moment you decide, rawly decide to change, everything shifts. But that decision, it costs. It costs comfort. It costs ease. It costs every excuse you've ever used to justify staying the same. You will wake up tired. You will push through pain. You will suffer through rejection, through failure, through doubt, and still you will not stop. Because once you cross this line, once you commit, there is no going back. The old you is dead. Your weaknesses, burn them. Your excuses, bury them. Your fears, crunch them. From this point forward, you do what needs to be done no matter what. You stop waiting for the right time. You stop needing motivation. You stop caring if it's hard, if it's uncomfortable, if it hurts, because it will. And that's the point. This is where most people break. This is where the weak ones turn back. So what about you? Do you keep running? Do you keep hiding? Do you keep pretending that one day you'll change while you waste another year, another decade, another lifetime? Or do you break the cycle? Do you burn down the person you used to be and forge yourself into something unrecognizable? Because once you reach the breaking point, you either crumble or you rise. And the ones who rise, they never fall again. Something inside you just snapped, didn't it? That old version of you, the one who hesitated, who doubted, who craved comfort, it's already starting to die. You feel it, that burning clarity, that ruthless resolve, it's waking up. Good. Now we go to war. This is the moment that separates you from every other person who wants change but never earns it. This is where most people crawl back to their weakness because the fire gets too hot, the suffering gets too real. But you're not crawling anywhere, because you've reached the point where there's no way back. The only way is through. The pain, you embrace it. The discomfort, you own it. The struggle, it fuels you. You are no longer the person who needs inspiration to act. You are no longer the person who hesitates when things get hard. That person is gone. This is the shift. The moment where everything changes. Because now you stop reacting to life and you start dictating it. No more complaining. No more waiting. No more letting circumstances control you like some weak, pathetic puppet. From this second forward, you are the one who decides. You decide how hard you work. You decide how much effort you give. You decide how disciplined you are. You decide how far you will go. No excuses. No feelings. No debates. Just action. Because the ones who win, the ones who dominate in life, they don't ask themselves how they feel. They don't negotiate with laziness. They don't wait for permission. They move. They execute. They conquer. And that's who you are now. You have spent your entire life chained to weakness. But today, you break free. That fear that's been controlling you, it's a lie. That doubt that's been whispering in your ear, it's nothing. That voice telling you that you're not ready, not strong enough, not capable enough, silence it. Kill it. Bury it. Because from now on, the only voice that matters is the one that says, keep going. You don't stop when you're tired. You don't stop when it's hard. You don't stop when you feel like quitting. You stop when you're done. And let me tell you something, you're just getting started. This is the beginning of the most dangerous version of you that has ever existed. The version that doesn't break. The version that doesn't doubt. The version that doesn't need validation, permission, or an easy path. The version of you that creates their own path. You will wake up earlier. You will work harder. You will push yourself past the point where normal people quit. And then you will push further. Because while they sleep, you grind. While they complain, you execute. While they make excuses, you rise. You are no longer like them. You are no longer one of the weak, the fragile, the afraid. You are becoming unstoppable. You are learning to love the suffering, to thrive in the hardship, to embrace the struggle that would break lesser men. You are ripping weakness out of your soul and replacing it with steel. And the best part, you haven't even unlocked your full potential yet. Because what happens when you push even harder? What happens when you take all that energy, all that rage, all that power inside you and unleash it without limits? You become a force of nature. You become the storm. And when the world tries to stop you, you tear through it. Because from now on, you don't beg for success. You don't hope for results. You don't wish for a better life. You take it. And no one, not fear, not doubt, not pain, not failure, nothing will stop you. Because the moment you made this decision, the moment you chose to turn away from weakness and toward relentless, unbreakable strength, that's the moment the world lost control over you. And now you take what's yours. You feel it now, don't you? That power surging through your veins, that fire in your soul. You've stepped over the edge, and there's no going back. The weak version of you, dead. The excuses, the hesitation, the self-doubt, gone. Now all that's left is a weapon of force so unbreakable that nothing and no one can stop it. Welcome to the new you. The one who doesn't flinch, the one who doesn't wait, the one who sees fear and walks straight into it. You've learned something most people never will. Pain is power. Discomfort is fuel. Struggle is the price of greatness in you. You're willing to pay in blood, sweat, and sacrifice. Because now you don't just endure hardship, you seek it. You wake up before the sun. Because you know discipline is built in the dark. You push yourself past the breaking point. Because you know most people quit when it gets hard, and you are not most people. You don't care about the odds. You don't care if it's unfair. You don't care if it takes everything you have, you take what's yours. Because warriors don't wait for opportunities. They create them. And when life hits you, when it throws everything at you, hoping to break you, you smile. Because pain doesn't weaken you anymore, it sharpens you. Pressure doesn't crush you, it forges you. Every challenge, every setback, every failure, they're nothing but fuel. And that's why the world fears people like you. Because you can't be controlled. You've stopped seeking approval. Stop needing validation. Stop caring about opinions, about doubters, about the weak voices telling you to slow down. They don't matter anymore. Because you answer to one person, and one person only, yourself. And that person demands more. More effort, more discipline, more sacrifice, more power. You don't settle, you don't compromise. You don't accept good enough. Because you are here to dominate, to win, to build, to conquer. And if they stand in your way, they'll regret it. Because you are done shrinking. Done dimming your fire to make others comfortable. Done apologizing for your strength, for your ambition, for your relentless drive. You were born for more. And now you take it. Every day, every second, every breath you move with purpose, with power, with the unstoppable force of someone who refuses to lose. Because failure, it's not even an option. You don't quit, you don't stop, you don't break. Because you are the storm. And when you move, the world has no choice but to make way. This is it, the final moment, the last breath of the weak, fragile version of you. There is no going back, no second guessing, no hesitation. You have walked through the fire, burned away every excuse, every lie, every weakness that once held you down. And now you are something else entirely. A force that does not break, a mind that does not falter, a soul that does not surrender. You have one choice left: rise or rot. Because if you stop now, if you hesitate for even a second, you will slip right back into the mediocrity you just clawed your way out of. And that would be the ultimate betrayal. You think you've come this far just to slow down. You think you've sacrificed this much just to let comfort creep back in. And no, that's what the weak do. That's what failures do. That's what people who die with regret do. But you're different. You felt what it's like to be dangerous, to be unshackled, to be the kind of person who takes what they want and answers to no one. You have walked the path of warriors, of kings, of those who refuse to be forgotten. And now, the only thing left to do is go further. Burn the bridges back to weakness. Destroy any path that leads to the person you used to be. Make a vow right here, right now, that you will never return to the life of excuses, hesitation, and self-doubt. Because the moment you allow weakness back in, it wins. And if there's one thing you cannot allow, it's that. This world will not give you what you want. It will fight you. It will test you. It will beat you down until most people break. But you are not most people. You are the nightmare they never saw coming. You are the storm that does not stop. You are the force that never backs down. So here's the truth, the only truth that matters. You either rise now, fully and completely, without fear, without hesitation, or you stay weak forever. Decide, right here, right now. Because once you choose this path, there is no turning back. And that's exactly why you're going to win.